When Sydney Sweeney stepped into a pair of American Eagle jeans last July, she probably didn't expect to spark one of the strangest pop culture debates of the year. A simple ad, 4 words, "Sydney Sweeney has great jeans," turned into a lightning rod for outrage. Within hours, social media exploded. Some called it clever wordplay. Others accused the campaign of flirting with eugenic undertones, a dangerous echo of America's past obsessions with beauty, genetics, and race. The ad that was meant to sell denim suddenly became a mirror, reflecting everything from celebrity culture to political polarization. But how did it happen? How did a rising Hollywood star, one of the faces of Gen Z entertainment, find herself at the center of an online firestorm over jeans? To understand the full story, we need to step back before the controversy, before the viral hashtags, to see how Sydney Sweeney became who she is, and why this campaign hit such a nerve. Sydney Bernice Sweeney grew up in Spokane, Washington, a far cry from Hollywood. A self-proclaimed overachiever, she was homeschooled, driven, and strategic. At age 12, she pitched her parents a 5-year business plan to convince them to let her act. It worked. Her early career was a grind, guest spots on Grey's Anatomy, Criminal Minds, and 90210. But she kept hustling, studying mechanical engineering on the side, building the work ethic that would later define her. Then came Euphoria. The HBO drama exploded, and so did Sweeney's fame. Her portrayal of Cassie Howard, a fragile yet fearless teen desperate for validation, made her a breakout name. From there came The White Lotus, Anyone But You, Immaculate, proof she wasn't just another blonde actress, she was an emotional powerhouse. Brands took notice. Luxury labels lined up. She became an ambassador for Armani Beauty and Laneige. Her public image? Confident, polished, wholesome yet daring, an all-American dream girl with a self-made edge. But that image also made her a lightning rod. In an era obsessed with representation and identity, Sydney Sweeney embodied a specific aesthetic, the blonde, blue-eyed ideal. And when American Eagle came calling, that ideal and her persona would be tested like never before. In July 2025, American Eagle unveiled its new campaign, Sydney Sweeney Has Great Jeans. It was cheeky, it was playful, and it was everywhere. Times Square billboards, TikTok teasers, behind-the-scenes video showing Sweeney laughing in denim shorts and crop tops. The idea was simple: celebrate confidence, comfort, and individuality. But the wordplay, jeans and jeans, wasn't lost on viewers. Some fans loved it. Others raised eyebrows. Why tie the concept of great genes to a blonde and blue-eyed woman in an era when genetics had once been used to justify racial hierarchies? At first, American Eagle brushed it off. The brand said it was about denim, not DNA. But social media had already taken the reins. The ad spread across Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok, dissected frame by frame. Critics called it tone-deaf. Supporters called it overreaction. And as the debate caught fire, the story moved beyond marketing. It became political. Conservative figures like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance tweeted in Sweeney's defense, framing the backlash as proof of woke hysteria. Suddenly, Sydney wasn't just selling jeans. She was being used as a pawn in America's endless culture wars. And that's when the real storm began. Within 48 hours, the internet turned into a battlefield. Reddit threads dissected every frame of the commercial. Twitter, now X, was flooded with think pieces, memes, and hot takes. Some users accused American Eagle of racial insensitivity. Others pointed out how similar marketing language had been used in the early 20th century to promote eugenic ideals. One viral tweet read, "It's just jeans until you remember America's history of perfect jeans." Meanwhile, fan communities defended Sydney fiercely. "She's literally just modeling jeans," one Redditor wrote. "She didn't write the tagline." Still, the campaign's tone, sunny, blonde, and nostalgic, made her an easy target in a tense cultural climate. By the second week, mainstream media joined in. TMZ ran with Sydney Sweeney ad sparks outrage. Rolling Stone called it fashion's latest identity crisis. Then came the polls. A New York Post survey showed that only 12% of Americans found the ad offensive. The majority either didn't care or found it funny. Yet that nuance didn't matter, because online, outrage moves faster than facts. Sweeney stayed silent at first. Her team reportedly advised her not to comment until the noise settled. But when the headlines refused to die, she broke her silence in a GQ interview. She said, softly but firmly, "I did a jean ad. I love jeans. I don't really let other people's noise affect me. It was calm, poised, and calculated. Still, her words didn't end the debate. For some, the controversy highlighted how fragile modern marketing has become. For others, it exposed how celebrity women are often scapegoated for corporate missteps. As the debate raged, another question emerged. Had Sydney Sweeney's carefully curated image, confident, charming, in control, been cracked open by a single pun? To answer that, we need to look at the woman behind the backlash and what this meant for her career. In the months following the ad, Sydney kept working. While social media argued about jeans, she was on set filming Christie, her upcoming psychological thriller. She avoided comment sections, posting only behind-the-scenes glimpses of her projects and her dog Tank. In interviews, she refused to play the victim. She told E! News, "People are going to twist things no matter what. I can only control what I do, and I love what I do." This wasn't her first brush with online scrutiny. In 2022, she was criticized for hosting a family party where some guests wore MAGA-style hats, a controversy she later dismissed, saying, "People assumed things that weren't true." To many fans, this latest backlash felt like déjà vu, another instance where the internet projected politics onto a celebrity simply existing. But the stakes were higher now. Sweeney wasn't just an actress, she was a brand. Her contracts with Armani, Laneige, and Ford Motor Co. meant that public perception directly affected her market value. Behind the scenes, brand analysts speculated, would American Eagle drop her? They didn't. In fact, sales of the featured jeans reportedly rose 8% during the campaign month. The controversy that was supposed to cancel Sydney may have actually boosted her relevance. Still, the emotional toll was real. In quieter interviews, she admitted that fame felt lonely, that every post now carried the weight of potential misinterpretation. The confident Cassie Howard on screen versus the careful, cautious Sydney off screen. She'd become a case study in modern celebrity, how an image crafted for Hollywood could be hijacked by online culture overnight. But this story isn't just about one actress. It's about the world she operates in, a world where marketing, identity, and politics collide. Let's zoom out. Why did a jeans ad spiral into a national debate? Part of the answer lies in timing. We live in an era where advertising isn't just about products. It's about values, identity, and representation. Every brand wants authenticity. Every celebrity wants relatability. And every audience wants to be heard. But those goals often clash. American Eagle's campaign aimed for playful empowerment, great jeans, great confidence. Yet it landed in a media ecosystem primed for outrage. Marketing experts later speculated that the controversy might have actually helped. Search interest for American Eagle jeans tripled during the backlash. Stock analysts reported a brief 6% sales uptick that quarter. In other words, outrage equals attention. But that strategy comes at a cost. When controversy becomes a marketing tool, real people, like Sydney, become collateral damage. On one hand, she's a celebrity benefiting from brand deals. On the other, she's a 27-year-old human absorbing millions of strangers' judgments. The digital public sees Sydney Sweeney, symbol of privilege. Her colleagues see Sydney, the hardest working person on set. This duality, perception versus person, defines modern fame. The great jeans controversy isn't unique, it's part of a pattern. Remember Balenciaga's 2022 scandal or Dove's Real Beauty backlash? Each moment exposes how brands misread the cultural room and how celebrities get trapped in the crossfire. So where does that leave Sydney? And what's the legacy of this denim debacle? By fall 2025, the uproar had cooled. American Eagle quietly shifted focus to its next campaign. Sydney returned to filming, appearing relaxed, even joking about the situation in interviews. She told one reporter with a smile, "If people are talking about jeans, I guess I did my job." Behind the humor was perspective. She'd survived what could have been a career-shaking scandal, and in doing so, learned how the internet really works. It builds, burns, and forgets. Today, she remains one of Hollywood's most in-demand young stars. But the great jeans saga left a lasting mark on her, on American Eagle, and on how we view celebrity marketing. Because in 2025, a jeans ad wasn't just an ad. It was a cultural Rorschach test, revealing what people fear, admire, and debate about beauty, privilege, and authenticity. Maybe Sydney's greatest test wasn't on screen, but online. A reminder that in the world of fame, every photo, every tagline, every word can be weaponized or worshipped by millions. This was the story of Sydney Sweeney and how one denim campaign became a case study in America's obsession with meaning, media, and the myths we wear.